All right, next skill we're going to talk about is finishing. I like 5. We use these 5 that I'll share with you. We use a power finish. That's a simple 2-foot powerful move at the rim. We'd use a poop finish. That's a counter to a power where we pivot out of pressure away from a bigger defender or a defender that has established position on us and we can't power through them. A third one is a scoop move. You know, we scoop, stretch out away from the defense, hand under the ball, and we get a quick release off. A fourth one that we like is a spin move. You know, primary defender cuts you off and you spin off of them, and we find that to be an effective move for our players. And then lastly, which is more of a recent one that's made popular, and we call that the Barkley, where you drive it, defender cuts you off, and you turn it into a post up, and we find that to be an effective. Those 5 are our core 5. All right, we're going to take a look at a poop move, and reminder, this is a pivot out of pressure, P-O-O-P, acronym, Dick DeVinzio. And this first clip, you're going to see Alexander here versus Dwight Howard, about a 6'5" guard against a 6'10" guy, and this allows him to get the defender in the air and then pivot away or pivot out of pressure, creating some space and easy layup. And so typically the footwork on a poop is when you drive it to your left, you would pivot with your left, pivot with that outside. If I drove it to my right, I would pivot with my right. You'll see that on some of these clips here. Here's another poop move, and what you're going to see here is the offensive player attacking really fast downhill, gets to the paint, collapses 3 defenders on him, poops away from the defenders, all 3, creating a little, what we call a little touch or push floater, which is a common finish when you poop away from the defense and get that finish. You're just creating separation. And remember, just a side note here, you know, teaching your players that defenders around the rim are just opportunities, that shot blockers are not obstacles, but yet opportunities. And giving them tools like this, a poop move, will allow them to be more successful. All right, this next clip, we're watching Luka go against a bigger forward here. And what I want you to notice on the drive is, you know, as you watch the first clip, you're going to see him poop out of there and then get a nice step through into a scoop finish. So it's a poop into a scoop. And then I want you to watch on the second drive from a different camera angle how at the end of his drive, and this is something I want you to be aware of, so when you teach your players, notice his eyes get to the rim. So that little subtle thing, when he gets his eyes to the rim, it gives the illusion that he's going to go up. It throws the defender a little bit off balance on his toes, so that when he pivots out, he's reacting again on it, because again, all players around the rim, or most players around the rim, want to block shots. And so those little eye fakes, subtle ball fakes, are a key component when teaching finishing around the rim, and Luka's one of the best at doing that, as you see here. On this power finish clip here that we're showing you of Jimmy Butler attacking the rim, I want you to notice how he attacks in a straight line. Once he gets to the paint, he's got his chest to the baseline, which allows him to use his inside shoulder, his left shoulder in this case, to bump and power through the on-ball defender. This can be used against the on-ball primary defender, or when you beat the primary and you take on that help and secondary defender. But those are the teaching points where you get your chest to the baseline, allowing you to use your inside shoulder to power through the defender. And Butler does a nice job here in this clip. What you're going to notice in this next clip with Steph Curry and a power finish is, I want to point out this. He's a smaller player, and most of the time on guys that he's finishing against, they're going to be bigger players. And so this is where the power finish allows the technique and the skill of the power finish to neutralize size and athleticism, which is a key teaching point, a key takeaway when you're teaching your players and for you just to have as a coach. So as we roll the film here, watch Steph Curry attacking in transition. He's going full speed. He's got a defender on the inside. He's got Kobe trailing him on the backside, and he lands on 2 feet here. Key thing, 2 feet allows you to be more powerful. Take on the hit with that left shoulder, the inside shoulder. You'll even notice that defender kind of pull back his hands as he takes the contact so he doesn't foul. And just a really good job of a power finish right here with Steph. All right, as we take a look at this first clip and this scoop finish, let's first talk about a couple things overall and overarching, which is this. Typically on a scoop finish, the ball will be above the hand. The hand will be below the ball. This can be done against an on-ball defender who you get on your back hip. It can also be used when you're attacking a bigger defender and you're kind of scooping underneath their hands and you're throwing off the timing of their shot blocking. So as we roll the tape here and take a look at into the game, national championship here, Baylor player attacking the rim and scooping. As you watch it for a second time, just notice how she puts her chest to the sideline and she scoops. She creates some separation there so she can lean out and get that finish. And so oftentimes, not always, on a scoop finish, the body or the chest of the offensive player scooping it will be towards a sideline as they scoop and stretch away from a defender. All right, so as we take a look at this next scoop finish, notice the player here coming off a high ball screen, so she then gets to the hedge defender and a drop defender, and she's going to be attacking a taller defender, as you'll see, and she scoops with her inside hand underneath and stretches away from that shot blocking defender. Nice job of a scoop, and another example of a different type of scoop finish. Okay, as we take a look at this clip of a spin finish, again, you can go deeper with some of our other supplemental videos within our membership site and go deeper on this. So we're just showing you a sample size, small sample size of a clip to illustrate what we're talking about here. And on a spin finish, let me just note as well that it's usually on an on-ball defender, but you'll see here where he's against a help defender. And this is when you get a chest read and you want to spin off that chest where you don't have as much space. Whereas if you see a chest read with some space, sometimes that's where you'll utilize what we call a sweep over move. But here is a spin finish. So as we roll the tape, you'll notice the player getting by the primary defender as they refuse the ball screen and then spinning off the help defender, and he does a really good job. This covers a lot of ground on his spin. As you watch it a third time, we teach dribble, drop, close. So he'll dribble towards the defender, he'll drop step, and then he'll close the second hand and second foot to the floor and second hand to the ball. So this is a spin finish.